Okay. Good afternoon. Namaste. Konbanwa. Konnichiwa. Bonsoir. Okay. So, is Reno people in this thing? Yeah.
Yep, we're here.
Hey, excellent. Welcome to the show. So,
Thanks.
okay. So, what I'm gonna do is the next 20, maybe 30 minutes. I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna present the exact same presentation I made at the offsite. We leadership had the offsite in the end of February. So I want to give you the exact same one so you know exactly what we talked about. And that particular offsite, we went through this. That was my first presentation. Then after that 2 days long, we talked about details, how to implement it. That was the whole thing was like that. So if you see this, you're just there, essentially. Okay. Then after that, I want to talk about this guy right here. What's this about? Okay. Some strange equipment you see out here, right? So let's talk about cultural company. So where we set up is decentralized, but yet coordinated and constantly evolve. We evolve in the company constantly. Something we set up to do today, 6 months from now, we have to change them because we are constantly make it better, constantly eliminate the wasteful things, make it better, try to figure it out how people can fit in the best way. That's the company we are. We are super decentralized. I was looking my time schedule and how the company does, what kind of duties I have. I'm probably needed for like maybe 1% of activities as globally what companies doing it. That's it. You know, some of the CEOs completely like a control, right? It's not like that. Our company is controlled by you, come from local levels essentially. That's how things set up like that. That's why I think we can evolve really fast. We make changes in a local level really quickly. Keep going. There's some Reno people. So we be progressive and creative to lead our staff and build our company. I think when we set things to do, we don't want to copy somebody else did, or we don't want to say, hey, it's been done that way before, so we're gonna keep doing it. Or we don't want to say, this is what we done, what I done in different company, let's copy it. No, we are going to learn those things from the mistakes and then other people didn't success, whatever it is, but we're gonna create something new, either process or methodologies, all that stuff. That's we are constantly put some new stuff in it. I think that's a really important philosophy. So Tim talked about lean process a little bit. I think in a sense we are very lean about it. What does that mean in Japanese? Kaizen. Kaizen means actually constantly. Kaizen means make it better. Actually, evolve to better, change to better. That's Kaizen means. Change to better. And the Kaizen philosophy in Japan for many, 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 many decades, by the way. Every company you go, there's some Japanese language, some mission statements like Kaizen in there. It's almost like a cliche out there. But that's something new here. What does that mean though anyway? It means I think it's really important to define the value. What is a defined mission is. And our mission is to make the world a better, safer place. That's why we're growing it, right? We want to have an impactful thing. We want to impact not only just our lives, we want to impact others. That's our mission. And we want to respect the people. I think that's such a key component of it. The respected people come from the not top-down approach like many organizations want to do. The you're actually the power source is. That's respectful, teamwork, and elimination of any kind of waste. Just eliminate just much as possible. Any kind of paperwork does not make sense. Well, some cases you have to have them. Some HR process or finance system, which I don't believe at all whatsoever, but you have to have it, because legal requirements, right? So those are kind of a required ways. It has to be there. Does exist. But it's just being a part of business in the United States. And the continuous improvements in decentralized settings. So this improvement doesn't happen because someday I decide or Lon decide to make some changes. The change has to come from each of you because that's where you're working every day. You know what's the wasteful things going on. Most of the wasteful things not about amount of paper you spend or stuff like that, or stamps. It's not what it is. It's more like people. I think that's the probably most important of it. Because this whole concept comes from the car manufacturing, right? So they're thinking more like actual manufacturing process because they make things, right? But our case is actually that the people, because our assets, as we are, right? You know, we don't have machineries. We just have you. So what does that mean about waste? Waste means you have a certain talent which is not being used. That's a waste. That's completely waste. So that's why we're so passionate about to find out each your passion and strength and some kind of purpose for each of you have, we're gonna bring up. Because if you don't do it, we are become so wasteful. So that's what our definition of waste people. Because we don't make things. We are thinkers. So this is something Tim will expand already. So this whole concept we've been doing actually practicing for a little while. There's actually a whole study of this behind it. You know, it's kind of interesting. You know, I mean, till I met Tim, I really didn't know much about this thing, by the way. And started talking to him, started reading about it, started seeing that, hey, you know, a lot of things we do is about just what defined by many people already. So Dipanch want to be a Hollywood star, so we're gonna focus on his strength. You know, that's what we're talking about, right? Elimination of waste means you're gonna focus on people's strength, not our weaknesses. You know, what would be a great example? So Jay, what's your strength?
Creating relationships,
What's your weaknesses?
organizing details.
Exactly. So would I ever talk to him to somehow make him better to organize the details? No. Long as he recognizes that, that's all matters. What matters is now let's work with him to just work on his strength. Let's not even worry about improve his weaknesses. Why you want to do that? Such a hardship to do. Exactly. And the return of investment, return of time over there is so limited, right? If I help him, if I work with him to work his relationship components of it, so much return of time is so much bigger than trying to make him organized, detailed person, which is probably mission impossible. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is how many organizations kind of look like a pyramid structure, and we hire Letitia you and try to kind of forge it and squish into this little square or triangular. You know, we squeeze into, right? That's how it happens. But we don't do it like that. We gain people changes, by the way, too. You know, today his maybe strength and weakness he's talking about could have changed that over the years. And organization evolved based on that. It's not about organization set up and hire people or try to brainwash people to fit into this thing. It's more like a hired people, kind of like it's there, or it's just hire someone. Then it's change the organization based on the person's strength. You know what I mean? So make sure that's what you got to do in your team. Okay? Don't try to change people. Just once that she or he understand his weakness and strength, as Jay stated, and make decisions on the fact that just focus on this person's strength only, and don't get bothered by his weaknesses. Just think about it. If I'm thinking about his weakness all the time, you know how frustration drive me crazy. Then we evolved in a whole bunch of different companies. That's our basically organizational structure. That's a famous picture of you guys. Cohesive teamwork. To make a cohesiveness works out is a particular team environment. They need to really be honest to each other. They need to be direct about it. You know, you cannot be like polite. It's nice to be nice, but don't want to be polite. You know what I mean? You want to say what's happening there and rigorously argue about it. Then you can really make the true teamwork. True teamwork is not being nice to each other or no, not nice. Nice is good. Okay, nice is good, but not be like. It's not about. It's not about be liked. By the way, in a team member, it's about be respected. It's not be loved. It's about be respected. You know, it's okay to say harsh things. You know, long as that come from genuine part of it, want to make the person better. You know what I mean? Has to be like that. Has to be authentic about them. So that's what the cohesive teamwork was about. Do not create any unnecessary management layers. Eliminate any unnecessary bureaucracy. By the way, these things that you're going to find in pamphlets we're going to give it to you, which it's in actually the strategic plan, all of these things. Did you make a print already? Yeah? Okay. Good. Yeah, after this. Leaders exist serve other people. I'm here to not boss Sabine or Jay or Sumi or Tim around. My job is to really help them. That's my job, to help to maximize Tim's strength and Sumi's strength, to make that dream come true. That's my job. So their job is basically the same thing as leaders. That's what leaders is. We here to serve others, you know. We here to serve other people to make dream come true. If we're not doing that, we're not leaders. So here's what it look like. See, that's why organization chart like this, you know, I want to always leaders being a bottom. But who's actually the bosses anyway? Clients, the people we serve. That's our bosses, you know. Leaders exist to serve the people, serve with others. That's the whole organization should be like that. By the way, the Jamie, she's a new board director. She's a fantastic. She's trained by lawyer. She's a lawyer, and she worked for the bank for major banks, and she had major roles there. And she's been working for the Zweig Group. The Mark Zweig was our board of directors for many years, and now she's a chief consultant for Zweig Group, and one of the most respected consultants out there. I mean, huge companies like AECOM and WGH and WGI, people like that really pursue her knowledge constantly. Now she agreed to be in the board of directors. It's really interesting now. It's not much money allowed to her to be on it whatsoever. And the reason I think she really want to do this is because she aligned with our culture and our passion and purposes, especially purpose components of it. Because she sees that she has probably 1,000 clients out there, companies big and small and gigantic and tiny. And she sees that the people like us are really rare to have that kind of organized, evolving, and a purpose-driven like this. That's why she's with us. Okay, using open communication include finance and strategy information, just like we're sharing here, right? Where's Sarah? Oh, she's here today. Yeah. Nice smiles here. Okay, so that's I think that's really important. So every quarter you're gonna see the financial information and stuff like this, when you know exactly what we're up to. Be one global company, use and share resources, workforce, and expertise. I think that's a really important part of it, you know. And India, our Miyamoto India people become really part of us now, and there are a huge supporting group out there. And that's part of the reason we are having the profitability is the support from India. You know, I think that's such a critical component of it. Actually, at most of office use that, but we don't have a really needs here yet. I don't think, is it? You know, but something we should definitely develop out here too, for sure. Global network of knowledge and supporting chain. So corporate engine team, based here in Sacramento, obviously, you know, and provide the so high performance engineering, resiliency engineering we call, and international development team, Sabine, Elizabeth, McCory, and many others lead in this effort. It's based in many different places actually. So that is disaster response, risk reduction components. Italian connections. I mean, Italian been with us for quite a long time, and they done a lot of work for the Haiti. You know, and they understand that IBC code and all that, and they've been fantastic partners. And this Miyamoto BIM Analysis is our Indian company. We own 70% of a company there, and our plans, we're going to grow this. We're going to grow to not only the BIM components, but engine components to support us, and also the marketing components. You know, that's how we're actually to grow out there. And eventually we want to provide the services to the other clients also, but not quite yet. But right now they're going to support it internally. What does that mean to you? I think what it means to you is probably higher bonuses or higher pay. That's what it means to you. Because let's say that, bottom line is doing a business in the United States, or especially California, is superbly expensive. Just no question about it. It's almost sometimes mission impossible to make a profit, actually. But worried that the international office like we set up, we have a companies out there, those people can support us. I think that's a really, really critical component of it. That's why we're profitable last year, by the way. That's what we keep growing at. And the geotechnical components and global earthquake data, which I'm going to get into a little bit, this comes from New Zealand. So one of our specialty is focus on earthquake resilient engineering. That's what we used to call high performance engineering, but basically the same thing. They have a unique value. So what does that mean? Resiliency means this. So horizontal axis is a timeline, and the vertical axis is some sort of a social indicator. Can be anything. Can be the number of buildings exist, the number of people, or payroll, or GNP, stuff like that. So here comes earthquake. Then what's going to happen? Bad things happens. Everything drops. Like let's talk about this is the number of payrolls in that particular area. Earthquake hits, completely gone. People out of jobs, businesses. Then after that, a little bit of time is downtime. Nothing happens because you're kind of a panic stage and you're waiting for the public works or building department to show up with the damage assessment team, kind of waiting period. That's what's going to happen. In many cases, this may last, depends on the size of a disaster, could it be 2 weeks, could it be 2 months, could it be 6 months. Then after that, things done, recovery phase started happening. They're back to normal state. That's actually resilience. So resiliency is really the direct loss times the whole area, the little bucket. That's the amount of that resiliency. So if that is smaller, it's better, right? Now, for many years, we understand that we try to work on these parts of it. We try to use the dampers and all that stuff, isolation, to make a building system better to reduce this direct loss. But this is almost, I find so many years, man, it's really difficult to convince the client to spend extra capital expenditure to doing this. Very difficult. Because they don't think earthquake will never happen, or just that the investment cycle is really short-sighted. However, we found reducing this downtime is actually something really you can do today and much cheaper. And actually for international development work we do for disaster risk reduction, really focus on this a lot, about how the government reacted to the certain disasters. And we prepare the government to do this. And actually this little machine, that's actually do the same thing. So let's talk about actual case. Haiti was like this. Earthquake happened. It killed about 300,000 people, affected about, destroyed about 200,000 buildings. It's about 6 months of downtime because there's no damage assessment was there. We actually show up and start training engineers and that kind of things going on. Then reconstruction started. It was pretty quick. Once it started off, about 5 to 6 years, all the damage is pretty much gone and new construction was built on top of it. Christchurch, earthquake happened. And initially what happened there is out of about 2,400 buildings, they removed about 2,000 of them, mainly because of the just the insurance reasons, some cracks and stuff like that. They just didn't like the cracked buildings, essentially, even could be repaired, but they took everything down. Downtime lasts almost a year and a half. The reason is government decided to red zone the whole area. They don't want to go in there. That became really downtime, really. Then today, it's about half of our cities reconstructed. Half of our cities are actually parking lot, by the way. Can you imagine? That's what they have today. And well, does this mean that Haiti is more resilient and Kiwis? Just looking at the amount of building numbers, yes, they are. But obviously, that the Kiwis lost 200 people versus 300,000 people. So there's different social indicators if you look at it. But if you look at percent of buildings, particularly the Haitian is much more resilient than the Kiwis out there. So what does that mean for us? This is one project we're working in Orange County. Here, This is actually a casino building working on it, right? So let's talk about what the performance means. So let's say like this. I used to teach college. I have about 40 students in it, right? And I teach exact same courses, but it's always bell curve. Some people get A, some people get F. Many people get C and B. It doesn't matter how great a teacher I am, bell curve, right? Buildings kind of like that. If I design 100 buildings, put in the same spot, earthquake coming through, some do well, some's average, it's going to be bell curve like this. So when we say in the engineering term, if you design this way, it's going to be a 1.2% drift, the things we say, that is actually not really correct. That is correct in an average sense, but there is the outliers always like that. That's how the buildings performs. Because there's some little bit different things going on in each construction, each little soil, each little things just makes a difference. So if you have an enhanced way, such as use the better quality control, and what's going to happen is you're going to see two things. Your displacement get less, and you can have a little more narrow bind. So I have a better students, so little, you know what I mean? So I get a little narrow band and a better performance. You put dampers in there, even better. If you put isolation in it, superb group of students. So this is actually what is the performance really means, That's how you communicate to clients. But they will ask you, what's cost of it? Something like this. Code is 100. Enhanced, it's going to probably cost you only 1% more. It's not much difference, by the way. Put dampers, maybe 2%. But most people don't want to pay 2%, by the way. It's pretty interesting. Can you imagine? Isolation, 10%. That's why there are only 200 isolated buildings in the United States, only California, because just too expensive for most of them. So one thing we start doing is a fiber mixed concrete. What this is the steel fiber about this long. You can mix into the concrete. You pour the bucket, like that, certain spots of concrete. And this is what's going to happen. You need, I think, like that. You need to play that. Yeah. You need to basically click manually. And this one here. So you can kind of see that between just a fiber mixed concrete versus a cold one. This line indicates the just draw dam. This is a testing done in USC, and this is actually done by the Fashad. It's our engineer in LA. He got a PhD from it. So we can see difference between the cold and the fiber one. Question I have is, which one would you like better? That one, right? This cost is almost nothing. I'm talking about probably adding at the 0.1%, 0.2% of the construction cost. So this is definitely something people love to do now. So this is a part of a thing we're going to really push in LA, in San Francisco, and San Diego, a place like that, because you can see that the huge difference in the performance in little tiny things. See, I think that this kind of thing is really important. Do some little things to make impactful things, If you try to do base isolation, you are not going to be able to convince them. I tried so many times. So many times, you're going to believe. Build a powerful unified brand. I think that's such an important part of what we do. Same brand, man. That just makes a difference. And we're not shy about marketing. Some people think that we're like a marketing company. I think it's great. That's exactly what it should be, Why do engineers have to be silent? We do such incredible things, right? Engineers do such unbelievable things. Why we don't brag about it? Why we don't talk about it? I think we can inspire just showing the pictures. Social media, so we do all kinds of stuff. Major media, speeches. What were you there yesterday? Yeah, you like it? Yeah, yesterday I was at the ACE conference. It was a big one. Sacramento, it's 500 people. It looked like 100 people. It's amazing, actually. It's a high school students, and they're sponsored by the engineers and architects and contractors be out there. And I was speaker there, so it was good, So things like that, we got to find occasion to really talk. talk what we do, inspire others. Okay. Publications, Great Minds event. That's the important stuff. 91,000 drawings. Contribution to society through Myanmar relief. All kind of media we can do. That's a Veronica. That's a job I like to do. And we are going to support our nonprofit Myanmar Global Disaster Relief. Why you want to do that? This is one of the first schools we actually did in Haiti every year. And so far we done one high school in Haiti and one in Nepal.
What we've done so
Yeah.
far? Three schools reconstructed, one in Haiti, two in Nepal. We're currently building a library in the same community that we built in the school in Haiti, and we're just moving into construction of a new school, retrofitting another earthquake damaged school in Nepal, and so that will be three schools in Nepal. Also, massive UNESCO World Heritage Palace damaged in the earthquake. And we're now also repairing a cultural heritage building that was next to the palace. So 1 to 2 construction projects a year on average. And so that I think is tremendous for the current, how young this organization is and its current capacity.
And it's really amazing. I mean, this year, the U.S. Embassy in Nepal, they literally force us to be an archaeologist. So we are requested by the embassy to submit a proposal for the archaeological preservation work in this area where the Buddha was born. It's pretty interesting, you know. So we engaged the University of California, San Diego, UCSD, because they got the so-called architectural structural engineering departments there, by the way. You know, pretty interesting people, and archaeologists from France, and people like that. Fascinating, isn't it? We told them no because we're an archaeologist, but they said no, you have to do it. Yeah, we fought for a little while in Bay. So Globe, this is the event. You want to talk about it a little bit?
90,000 drawings took place in Los Angeles. Yeah, Lassie, you're putting me on the spot here. I thought I could
me a
just
relief.
relax. It took place in LA last year. We collected 1,800 doodles from the community. Our popularity on sort of people signing up to our mailing list, there were about 100,000 people in Los Angeles that signed up. We managed to raise $50,000 and by that achieving our commitment of donating $30,000 to a school for music program, the only school in downtown LA of 30,000. In LA, things are really expensive, and so the rest was used for sort of convening the event. We made a lot of great connections. Everyone in LA is asking us when it will take place again, and so it looks like we will be. We're starting to organize for next year already. We've got Brookfields, which is a mass developer in Los Angeles. I don't know if it's in the California region, but Brookfields wants to throw their weight behind it next year and provide venue space. So I think next year we'll be able to have a bigger impact, more doodles. We had over 400 people come on an incredibly rainy Thursday evening. And so I think we can really grow this initiative and engage people in meaningful ways to give back.
In Sacramento.
In Sacramento. That's Marina. Here we go. Hello, Marina. Putting you on the spotlight. Just
Go on, Tim.
So in Sacramento, we'll be targeting September, as it says on the screen, and we're working on choosing a charity.
That's the plan. All right. And but I think it's a really important part of whatever we are doing it, we gotta have fun. You know? We do a very serious thing. What we do is we affect people's lives all the time. But at the same time, we just have to have fun. Otherwise, just not worth it. That's a critical part of it. That's why we have parties and stuff every so often. When we're gonna have yeah, there you go. See, this kind of things happens. This is LA people, crazy people. Yeah, no wonder. What happened to here? Those people. So vision. We're gonna be a global leader in structural engineering, earthquake resilient engineering, and disaster risk reduction. Take bold actions to fortify business, enrich communities, and safeguard humanity. Positively impact society as a 1,000-person firm, business unit strategy positioned around the globe. That's basically our vision statement. So I'd like the next 10 minutes can describe to you about this little thing. Do you mind if we show this to people in Reno, what this look like? That thing. What this is, you can shake this. Global seismic data. So I met them actually probably almost like maybe 3-4 years ago in Wellington, New Zealand. And New Zealand being shook up quite a bit by the earthquakes from not only 2011 Christchurch, but also Wellington event a couple of years ago. And the whole country is completely aware of the seismic risk out there. One of the things they noticed that is after the earthquake, is a big argument about what happened to the building. Engineer from owner say green tag. Engineer from government say red tag. Engineer from an insurance company say yellow and a half. And no one agree for like years. That's why what happened to Christchurch. They waste incredible amount of money and time. Guess what? The city doesn't exist today. I think we got a solution to eliminate that. It's not happening. Is it working? So, but we've been talking about, right? Sure, you put isolations and dampers, we can fix that right now. But as I said, it's really difficult to convince people to do things like that because it takes so much capital expenditure doing it. But there is a way to actually reduce increase the resiliency by reducing the little area I was talking about. Just cut off downtimes. So we talked about that. How gonna chop off this downtime? If we know what happened right on the spot, then that's the time you're gonna save it. So this little guy, I'm gonna do just that. We're gonna cut this time to 0. Traditionally, we do building assessment. That's what we do, and that probably never changed though. Still, we have to do that. Still, engineers have to see them, But that takes a long time. In Haiti, we trained 700 engineers, and we assessed 430,000 buildings up there, and took us a whole year to doing it. It was an incredible amount of effort, which is great. But problem is this me and the one in Ecuador checking these cracks, right? I personally led this whole effort of 430,000 buildings, and probably so far I assessed maybe 10 different countries personally. I can probably say that I probably led the 450,000 assessments globally, right? Probably no human being ever done like what I did. But I didn't know what those cracks are. Is that really bad? Is that good? What is it? And what happened to those columns in there? Is that like something crack in there? I don't know. So what I do, I just guess. That's what damage assessment is about. So guess what? Because of that, we just have no idea. Like, for example, this is a great one. This is a Mexico City. This picture I took this, right? What is this? Okay, see what do you think? Is it a green tag, yellow tag, red tag? What do you think, Sumi?
Could be yellow. Yeah.
What do you think, Mike? This gotta be green. Come on, man. Column is okay. Nothing's. That reason is because we got completely different experiences, completely understanding what cracks means and what's not, and also that how much conservative, what's not conservative, right? Some people are more conservative than others. That's how it kind of works like that. That's why that there can be anything really. So you may have a nice building like this. This is ADB headquarters in Manila. Earthquake happens, damage assessment coming through. It could be yellow, and chance of probably red. Even tiniest cracks. That's how it works like that. That's why that we have not only issue for waiting for damage assessment, but once tagged it, it's going to take a long time to remove this. You need to hire the engineers, detail assessment, analysis, and all that things you have to do. However, we don't need to do that. So if the earthquake happens, like this, shaking through it, here's the units. This is actually consists building, right? We put the ground level, mid height, and top level. And goes right into the cloud. That's simple. So information is taking 24/7, recorded at the top. To tell you low intensity, medium intensity, or high intensity event. So, and also that we will get the information for actually the flow acceleration time histories from each of this. So if you put into model, you can check it and you know exactly what happened to the building. There's no argument because you're gonna have an actual recorded motion in there. You put in a model, you're gonna adjust the model, you're gonna see the demand capacity ratio, you're gonna see the linear plastic excursion, all that stuff right on the spot. So actual earthquake records can be used for simulation and identified failures right on the spot. That's why that we're gonna have much more confidence. So this way, guess what? Casey and Jay and Sumi are gonna have exact same results. There's no variations there because the models are models, accelerations are accelerations. That's actually groundbreaking concept if you think about it. So, oops. So timing wise, it's like this. Without the sensor, it may take a month to do things like that, right? You once get red tag in, you have to hire the engineers, all that stuff going through. Having the sensors much shorten that duration. This is actually really critical. Place like LA or San Francisco, big earthquake happens. Most likely 70 to maybe 60 to 70% of buildings should be the green tag, even certain cracks in it. So most of the buildings are actually okay. Only problem is you can have a 20 to 30% of building stock. The problem is that the minimum green tags buildings originally be tagged as a yellow. That's going to be shut down in cities for many, many weeks or months to come. By having this device, you can definitely avoid that. So use a little piece like this, about 8-inch square little piece. Install it, just plug it. That's it. And way it works out is it goes to wireless. So this has a little battery in there. So if the power shut down, you store data or keep actually the recording data for 8 hours, after that. And cell coverage usually lasts about 30 seconds. What happens after 30 to 1 minute, they get overloaded and they shut down for about a week or two, usually after that major earthquake happens. But this case, actually, before that happens, it goes up to cloud. So we're going to have the information of the actual event, what happened to it. That makes sense? So in the desktop, you're going to see like this acceleration record. Then if you have the many different locations, you can see that the so-called red, yellow, greens. So if you manage the many area, you want to definitely focus on the red one. Red ones experience the high intensity motion on the floor. Greens are low intensity. Chances the high intensity one does have damage in there. So you want to dispatch the people to those areas essentially. So you can do quick triage. And you're gonna see the app like this. You can see that what happened to each locations, and you can see the whole triage of it. So this would be really great tools for them. Super affordable for not only data centers, but school districts, hospitals, large corporations, utilities, bridges. I think we can really totally change the profile of disaster should be look like. I think it's completely different. I think this can be really make a huge impact how actually cities can react to this one here. I really believe in this one actually. So yes, so that 2 days ago when we had a meeting, it was fantastic, right? Essentially, those people, I never had a meeting like that. Just people, those people lined up and they ask a whole bunch of questions at the very end, say, okay, we want to buy this right now, please, sign us up. It was an amazing meeting, don't you think, Jay? Yeah, it's amazing, yeah. So that's kind of things we're doing it. That's the global seismic data is about, It's not about everything. This is just one tool in toolbox we have to make things better and safer for people, But that's our basic mission is, and we're continually changing it, evolving it. And use of some different solutions, right? Use of the fiber, mixed concrete, and all that stuff we're gonna do, different service lines to make things better. So we just don't follow the status quo. That's basically what we are. That's it. Thank you. Any questions? I'm sure Letitia has some kind of critical questions. Give me a mic.
I guess this is just out of curiosity. Like, when are we looking at like implementing this?
Right now. So we actually writing a proposal for this data center client, like this next week probably. Yeah. Everything's set up. That's why we're doing it. Yeah, Carlo.
So did we look into insurance companies?
Yeah.
So they will offer a lower
Yeah.
premium for installing this, for example, or something like that?
I think that's exactly, I didn't say it, but that would be definitely at a good place. But insurance company, we probably need to go to London or Munich. It's because reinsurance, that one is the most probably interesting in. Because primary insurance companies in California or place like that, they basically buy themselves insurance to cover their losses. So most of the cost goes out. So they transfer the risk already. So who actually carry the risk is not the primary insurance, actual reinsurance companies in the Europe market essentially. So answer your question, yeah, we definitely should go to the lawyers in London to talk about this thing. Yes, Sumin.
Do I have a question? Yes, I do.
It's about the projection that you mentioned. We're expecting about $25 million for 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
globally, yeah.
Yeah, globally. I'm just wondering. So now we are past Q1.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering how we're doing so far. Are we on track?
I think we're pretty much right on there. I think we're pretty much as did the whole Miyamoto Intentional Inc. is pretty much right on it. I don't get data from. I think a lot of chunks come from New Zealand too. We have 60 people there in New Zealand, and they're pretty much right on that too. I think. Yeah. Actually, this is probably first quarter, one of the probably most robust first quarter I've been seeing for quite a long time. I think because usually first quarter is much slower.
Have we ever had a contract where we're?
You may need it's floating around, Zach.
Have we ever had a contract where we're I want to say on call, but what is it where we're retainer? Have we ever had that before? Is there a history of that, or is this the first?
I heard about this before, but this is actually retainer thing's pretty interesting, because we're talking to clients, right? Clients want to say, hey, we need to pay you retainer. It's like, okay. Every year.
And so it's not just so if nothing happens, then that retainer
They lose.
Oh yeah, and that's attractive to clients.
Because their whole thing is that they want us to be there when it happens. So
the question was, how do we know we're first?
Yeah. And how will we manage this? Like if our LA office and San Francisco office, for example, has the client contracts on their server, and our LA office, if there's a direct hit there, well, we won't likely be able to return to our building. And so who's going to manage it? How are we going to be able to dispatch and fulfill our promise of being first, that clients do get that attention immediately? Is there someone that will be centrally sort of coordinating this or responsible? Some sort of team?
Well, it's like this. If we had only one office in LA, I probably not gonna offer the services because it's not possible. But because we're multi-office like that, big event happen in LA, yes, our LA office or staff not gonna working for probably month to come. They're busy to take care of their own businesses, right? Sacramento office, San Francisco office, Orange County office, all the places basically can activate to do that LA. And the same thing happened in San Francisco essentially. So having a multi-location like we have, it really works. It really does. You know.
I don't know if I'm thinking too detailed here, but wouldn't it make sense to have sort of this response plan all in one central location? Obviously, the clients divided up into cities or something like that. So, for example, if LA office, everyone's busy with their families. Now, Sacramento needs to jump in or Orange County needs to jump in, but they don't really have access to the LA server. They don't know where to punch stored. Ex clients
No, it doesn't.
contract, like how is that all being managed?
No,
And sort of,
server is centralized. I mean, information doesn't stay there. Information we have in the cloud. If that's no, I mean, losing the servers in LA does not affect their business or does not lose that information in LA.
then the punch is busy. Something happened with whatever. He's busy. Now no one knows where to punch put the contracts of client XYZ that are on this. Like, is that kind of being looked at? So like there's a streamlined process in place to really make sure that we will be there for our clients because that's what we're promising them.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Kind of detailed question right now, but yeah, sure, sounds good to me. Any other questions? Yeah, Letitia.
Okay, so say this takes off. It's a great idea, right? And we have all these clients, and then an earthquake hits, and we're supposed to be first and responding and taking care of our clients. What if there are so many buildings? Like, do we have the capacity to be there for them right away?
Well, again, that we're gonna get people from not only California, but we have 70 people in New Zealand. We have 20 people in Nepal. We're gonna have a probably large amount of people by then in India. Italians. So we can really activate the main different offices essentially. That's why that this only can be applicable if we have a setup like this. If we have only one office, 40 people, no, I can't do this one for sure. Because our setups, I think, make us very unique to be able to react to do it. But I think that the way we're gonna work would be it's like a step by step, right? Like a first, like a 50 clients, I think we can deal with it. If it become like a 1,000 clients in California, we need to think something else up. Like we need to have some kind of agreement with some different companies from different states to basically help us. That kind of stuff has to be there probably. If that's a help, it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
So will we have, like, to build that capacity, do we have to have like some sort of training so that we're able to be available?
Basically, the assessment would be ATC 20 assessment per OES. So that'd be same. And also analysis is essentially analysis, which means just like what you do today. Only difference is you can have a EDEPS model built up already, and you're gonna have an input motion at each flow level essentially. So process would be you're gonna put it in, and where you're gonna put the ground motion first, you're gonna shake the thing, right? Time history analysis. You're gonna see that what kind of time history at each flow level. You compare against what really happened to it, and you need to basically calibrate a model to match that, such as adjustment dampening or the crack sections and so on. Then once that happens, then you start understanding what kind of demand and capacity you had in the columns and beams. So fairly straight AST41 process essentially. So anyone working on AST41, having an ATC20 certified, then this definitely at the part of this ball game. But when we started modeling things, then you're gonna start understanding more of this thing because we need to start kind of calibrate at the same time. You know what I mean? So that become a training ground in a sense when you do pre-modeling. Yeah, Carlo.
So we're gonna have the model, but so reality could differ depending on construction or if there's a short column, for example, from some kind of a design change or something. So will we also do a visual inspection to
Yes.
confirm that
Yes.
these findings? Just to okay.
Yeah, it has to have visual.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean remotely you can see what happened to it, but also has to go there for
Okay.
sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
that doesn't eliminate them.
And will it also be able to monitor drift or just accelerations?
What's that?
Will it also be able to monitor drift or only acceleration?
Well, if you're in acceleration, you can integrate it. You can get the velocity, you can get the displacement.
Okay.
Yeah, but the actual input, you can get accelerations.
Okay.
So we need to integrate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Any questions from Reno? Guess not. Okay, well, that's it then. Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it.